The Arizona Cardinals 2021 schedule breakdown is here. I'm your host, 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗨𝗕𝗘, joined, as always, by Ian Cummings, and we're just going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this. The Arizona Cardinals, are they on a cliff this year? Is 2021 do or die for the head coaching quarterback duo of Kliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray? Because I'll tell you what, there is a lot of excitement around this team. There is a lot of excitement around Kyler Murray, his future, and honestly, the addition of J.J. Watt on the defensive side of the ball. They have Chandler Jones coming back healthy this year. They have 𝗦𝗢𝗏 on the other side. Can we please get Larry Fitzgerald a Super Bowl? Is this going to be the year that it happens? Let's get to their most difficult game first. You know, Vegas has the odds as the Packers at home being their most difficult game. Do you agree with that, Ian?
I honestly don't agree with that. No. And I didn't know we were going to have these assigned to us. So I was going through, I was kind of listing them for myself. And I actually think that at Cleveland, week 6 is going to be the toughest game. I think a lot of it does depend on whether Aaron Rodgers is going to be the QB, because we obviously have no idea at this point. It seems like that relationship is kind of irreparable. And then you look at Cleveland, they have stability on both sides of the ball. They have Baker Mayfield coming into year 2 with Kevin Stefanski. Their defense is loaded, and the offensive line is still one of the best in the league. I really think that can be the toughest game for the Cardinals. But either way, I mean, if Rodgers is back too, that Cardinals secondary, aside from 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗘𝗦, they don't really have a lot. You know, they have a few corners who maybe could contribute. Byron Murphy heading into his next year. But I'm not confident in that secondary. And I think that Aaron Rodgers could put pressure on him. But, of course, the whole deal with him is he has to be there. If he's not there, that changes the complexion a lot. So I think that Cleveland right now is my toughest game, but it could be either way. It just depends on what happens with Rodgers.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually agree with you. I think that the Cleveland Browns away is a more difficult matchup. I think that, you know, overall, you guys see it on the graphic here. They have the 4th most difficult strength of schedule. When you look up and down this schedule, it is tough to find games, or, you know, to find those easy wins that you can put on the schedule. And this is a talented offensive team. For me, the Browns are the most difficult game. For me, the most fun to watch game, the one that I have circled, and guys, I promise you, it's not because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's because I think that there could be 100 points scored in this week 17 football game if they are still both battling for the playoffs. I really think that those two defenses are not going to be very good. You have a quarterback in Kyler Murray that can run around all around the field. The Dallas Cowboys' biggest question mark is probably in their secondary, if it's not their defensive tackles. And you know, for the Arizona Cardinals, their biggest is you talked about it, the cornerbacks, that secondary outside of 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗘𝗦 is not very good. The Dallas Cowboys probably have the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. That could be a phenomenal offensive game to watch. And if you like defensive struggles, slugfest, you're not going to want to watch that football game, but that's my must-watch game for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, this is interesting. We picked the same one. Out of all the games, man. Yeah, woo! Dallas and Arizona. I mean, looking at Dallas, I mean, we don't even need to talk about what they have on offense. Everyone knows at this point. Dak Prescott coming back, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz. I forgot his last name for a second. Blake Jarwin. They have a lot of guys, man. And then looking at Arizona, Kyler Murray, of course. You got DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, a lot of explosive weapons. And Rondale Moore, 2nd-round pick. So a lot of explosiveness on both of these offenses. It's going to be fun to see how they match up, especially if they're both playing for playoff position at this point in the season, which I think they could. I think Dallas has a chance to be in the lead in the NFC East at this point, but the Cardinals will definitely be fighting for position with the Seahawks and the Rams in their division. So it's going to be interesting. But the combination of implications at this point could really drive the points up, as you said. So I'm really itching to see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, that's going to be a ton of fun to watch that football game. Now, for you, what is the biggest defining game on the schedule for the Cardinals if they are going to, you know, really show themselves as a playoff contender?
Yeah, you could pick a few. Because I think if they lose a decisive game like earlier in the season, it could impact them later on. But I do think they're good enough to at least be kind of in the middle of the road in the third quarter of the season, you know, like that 12 to 15 stretch where, hey, we're still in it. We're still clinging to life. I think they could. And I think that one game in that window that could be the death knell for them if they don't show up is versus the Los Angeles Rams, week 14. I think that, you know, at home against the division opponent, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Rams are tough. Really good secondary still, even after losing John Johnson. And then offensively, I'm really excited to see what Matthew Stafford brings to the table with Sean McVay. So I do think that if you're the Cardinals, you need to take care of business in this game against the Rams, who are a very challenging team at home. Use that home field advantage and take that one back. Because if you don't, then ultimately you play the Colts, the Cowboys, and the Seahawks. None of those games are going to be particularly easy. I think the Colts, it depends on Carson Wentz, but that roster is still good. The coaching is good. So that's a game where you might need that forward momentum to take into the final stretch. And if they can't get it, then it could ultimately spell doom for not only the Cardinals, but maybe Kliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And if they underperform, I could definitely see them going a different direction at the head coaching position. But for me, it's to start the season. It's in week 1. I want to see what this team is going to be. I want to see what they're going to be right away. You have the Tennessee Titans, who I think are kind of in the same kind of tier as the Arizona Cardinals in that team. I mean, you think they could probably win 9 games to 11 games at the very top, and they might end up going 8-9 if things don't, if the ball, bounces the wrong way here and there. So I think that's a really big game where I need to see. Plus, just the fact that you have two of probably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. I actually just recently called them the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. So Julio Jones and A.J. Brown against that secondary, that offense of Arizona is going to have to try to keep up. I think that is the defining game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2021. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. What is their record going to be? That is the Arizona Cardinals at the end of the year. What do you think is the most defining game of the season? What game do you want to see the most? Let us know in the comments.